How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Deadline with Dayvy live stream. This week we're going to talk about Gameweek 33 plus. Right off the bat, guys, apologies for the deadline stream being a little bit later. I'm not going to lie to you. I did mess up the deadline times a little bit. I thought it was only happening in 30 minutes time, but unfortunately it's only an hour and 30 minutes, but it's happening in 30 minutes. So please get your teams in there. So 30 minutes from now, the deadline is. So unfortunately, this stream is only going to be 30 minutes long. It's not going to be an hour long, but I still think that that's plenty of time to get those questions in and get them answered. A lot of talking points that we're going to be going over this week. To start off, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a wrap up of Game Week 32. So I ended up with 62 points. The red arrow was reduced a little bit from 6.5k to 6.2k. Still a red arrow of about 1,000 places. So not that great there, but at least we're still in the top 10k. In terms of other things that happened that week, not really that much. The Man United options performed quite well. Not really Rashford and Martial, but if you had the likes of Fernandes, and I think Greenwood also did quite well, so that could be something. And obviously the shock victory, not really shock victory, but I didn't think anyone expected that Man City win against Liverpool in the fashion that it was. So those options really look good for the future. Just going to have to battle with some rotation there, but with the whole substitutions that, the 5 substitutions that every team's allowed, I'm pretty sure that most of your assets will be shown on the pitch. And I mean, 30 minutes in a Man City time that is as hot as it is currently is plenty of space. On the bench, nothing much to talk about, and that's what we covered in the video. In terms of my team right now, this is how we're setting up. I still have to make the transfer of Son to Salah/Mane, and then I'll probably captain one of them. I just think that the triple up in that United attack is enough to kind of cover those points. And if one of Liverpool assets like Salah or Mane do quite well, I think that'll be quite a nice safe pick to go for. In terms of other options, Lascelles is apparently injured, so he'll probably be or Connolly will probably be starting for him. I am looking for early team news on Connolly, so if you do hear anything, about Connolly, I'll be checking for early team news a little bit earlier to the deadline. If Connolly is starting, I will play him. Otherwise, Serge Aurier will just play. I just think with Lascelles, it's not worth taking the risk. If he is injured, he probably will miss the entire game week, though, which probably will happen. So I could actually just play him and then expect the bench player to come on. But then otherwise, I think this week with captaincy, there's a lot of good captaincy options. So unfortunately, this is one of those weeks where you kind of have to just look at it. You just got to have to pick one and hope for the best. So the Man United options, great fixture against Bournemouth, so they're also looking quite good. You could even look at the Man City options, someone like Mahrez or De Bruyne against Southampton. Now, Southampton are one of those teams where against Man City, they always concede a couple. I think most teams are like that, to be honest. But with the Man City assets, they're looking in great form after that win against Liverpool. So they could also be some options. And then obviously the Liverpool assets, Salah and Mane, didn't look too good against Man City. But I think that there's still some merit to going for a captaincy there. I'm pretty sure that Jurgen Klopp's going to come out and they're going to put in a good performance. But then also Aston Villa haven't been that bad since the restart. So there's a lot of captaincy decisions to go for. We kind of just have to choose one, as I said. It's not like last week where probably the standout captaincy option was Aubameyang. I know in hindsight we can say that because he was, but I definitely think that he was the player with the standout fixture. Whereas this week we've got a lot of options that you could go for. In terms of the Fernandes/Pogba news, I don't really know what was happening there. News came out last night. I didn't look at Twitter too much, but apparently there was a fake news source that said that Fernandes and Pogba had a collision and both of them came off the worst. So I don't know what that really meant. It probably meant that both of them weren't going to start against Bournemouth. But that news has kind of been rubbished this morning. I think some reliable news sources came out and said that that's not really a reliable source and was pretty much fake news. So you don't have to worry about your Fernandes or your Pogbas. And even if you go and captain them, I would not even be put off captaining them, as I'm pretty sure they're both going to start. In terms of the rotation for United, I don't think there'll be much rotation. I mean, Solskjaer is going to come out, if he comes out and has a changed lineup, I think he's going to be quite mad because of the form they've been in. And considering they're challenging for the top 4, I think it's going to be a pretty standard full-strength squad for them. So they're also good options. Obviously, I've tripled up on them, so I do think they're going to do well. But I think my captain this week will be Salah or Mane. In terms of Salah or Mane, it's really a toss-up. I'm favouring Salah a little bit because Mane was looking shocking against City. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but couldn't even control the ball. But otherwise, let's get into some questions that you guys have in chat. So the one question I also wanted to just address is a lot of people have been hitting me up in the DMs on Twitter asking what they should be doing with their chips. So I do think that this week is a good week for a triple captain, just because of how good the fixtures are. In terms of bench boost, also a good week for bench boost, as long as your bench is good. Obviously, mine is not that great with the likes of Davies and Button, and then Lascelles out injured. But if you have a full playing bench, I think it's also a good week for the bench boost. The thing is, if you have all your chips, I would pretty much use the wild card maybe now or next game week, because you want to use that as soon as possible. You can use the wild card bench boost combo that I always do, or you can kind of just you got to just pick a game week that you think is going to do well. Unfortunately, when you leave your chips this late, it is quite a problem because you don't know which game week to go for. So I don't think between now and the end of the season there's a particular game week that I would focus on. I just think pick whatever one your side looks the best for and then just choose that one. Greenwood starts, so unfortunately I don't know if Greenwood is going to start. I think he should though because of the form he's been in. But with Man United, I'm not really the most kind of advised on their lineups. So I think that he probably would start. The thing is with Greenwood is he's going to come on anyway. So you could argue that you would rather have Greenwood for the last 20 minutes against a tied Bournemouth side than him playing for the first 70. So I think if you have him, you play him and you just hope for the best. £2 donation from the Emerald Pilot saying Doherty Bolly or Doherty Fernandez to start. So I think that I favor Doherty Fernandez in this case. Because of the likes of, I'm not favoring the double up in defense, but unfortunately I think I would rather take the risk of doubling up than playing the likes of Aurier, because Everton have been playing quite well and Spurs have been quite bad. So I think I would rather just take the risk there. But in terms of your case, if I did have Lascelles fit, I probably would play him instead of Saiz. So the Emerald Pilot, I would rather go for Doherty Fernandez in that case. Martial or Salah / Mane captain, thoughts? So if you own the likes of Salah and Mane and you only own one Man United attacker, I would probably go for them. I'm just not going for them because I do have a triple up. So I think it should basically cover the points. And to choose which one of these three scores the most is going to be quite tough. As you saw with last game week, I mean, Fernandez came out the best and these two basically got nothing. So if you only have one Man United attacker, I probably would go for them. But otherwise, I'm opting for the likes of Mane or Salah. Cantor or Aurier to start. So as far as I know, Norwich are playing Brighton. Maybe if you get early team news and Cantor is starting, then I would look at him. But otherwise, I don't think Aurier is a particularly bad option. I just don't really favor that fixture that they have. Let me rather do that. So currently it's a 3-4-3. Maybe we put Aurier instead of Connolly, and only until we get early team news we play him. David, thoughts on transferring Aubameyang out? So Aubameyang out is an interesting one. I do think that that's a move I would look for, especially if you do have 2 free transfers. So if you have 2 free transfers, you still have Aubameyang, and you want to try and downgrade to upgrade, I would look at that. There are a lot of good options underneath Aubameyang's price tag. The likes of Rashford, Jimenez, you could even go for someone like Greenwood, which gives you a massive amount of cash to maybe bring in the likes of Mahrez. I think Mahrez is probably one of the best transfers to do this game week. So I do think that Mahrez is someone that you should be looking at, especially after that rest. Yusuf saying risk it for the Pulisic captain, currently 25k. So Watford, I don't think is the best fixture in the world. Watford have shown that they've been a little bit better. I think if we can just go and look at their record maybe, and then we can take an assessment. Chelsea, a little bit hit or miss this since the lockdown period has started. So you can see here with Watford, they conceded against Southampton, but Southampton are one of those sides that do quite well sometimes. Burnley only was a 1-0, and then Leicester was a 1-1. So I think that if you want to try and go for a really risky captain, but please understand that your Pulisic captain is going to be a differential here. I think the likes of the United assets will probably be considered differential captains because everyone's going to go for Salah or Mane. So if you really want to take a risk, maybe go for it. But I think there's still other good options to go for. Maybe if it was a little bit of an easier fixture. But Pulisic has been playing well. But I would only advise you to do it if you want to be really risky. Tom James saying 1 free transfer. I'd have to take out Martial to bring Salah in, but I could take out Martial for Mahrez. So I don't know if I would be looking at taking Martial out time. He has a really good fixture, probably guaranteed to start. So I don't think I'd be looking at taking Martial out. However, if you do want to use a free transfer on someone else, I don't think necessarily Salah is the most you need to bring him in, essential player. I just think that Son hasn't been playing that well in Spurs overall, so I would rather try and take the punt on a Salah / Mane. So maybe time, send what the rest of your team is, and we can kind of look. Adam Palmer saying, are you not tempted to play the free hit and triple up on United, Liverpool, and Man City this week? I don't think I'd particularly be tempted to do the whole triple up. Southampton, it could be a little bit of an iffy fixture. It could be a better game week to use the free hit, but I think I would rather save it for maybe another game week. The players that I would be looking at taking out would probably be the likes of maybe Jimenez, who could have a good game against Arsenal. That's the thing, is I don't look at this team and think particularly that I really want to bring other players in. So that's kind of why I'm not using the free hit this week. I think I'll maybe use it maybe later on if we have some real punts. I mean, maybe the likes of Liverpool rotate in the couple final games and we can have some really cheap options or something. But I think this game week has been a little bit too rushed for me to really take full advantage of that free hit. The other consideration you could think of is using the free hit the week before the FA Cup semi-finals, because then teams might rotate. So that's something that I'm considering, maybe using the free hit then. I take a hit to get Salah instead of Mane or Shahindra. I wouldn't take a hit to take Mane out for Salah. That initial decision is a total toss-up. So whoever you want to go for is a 50-50. Just kind of hope the player that you bring in does well. St. Maximum to Pulisic worth a -4. I don't think so. I think St. Maximum is a good option to have. And I don't think I would be. Are you keeping Son? I'm not keeping Son. I'm going to be taking him out for one of the likes of Salah or Mane. Probably should do that move now, because I guess people are going to be looking at the stream and thinking that I'm still carrying on with Son. So Son, my plan for Son is to kind of look at the Everton game. I can always bring him back for Bournemouth. I'm just giving you guys a warning. From now to the end of the season, it's going to be very hectic in terms of transfers. You're going to see me taking out the likes of Salah, bringing him in for one game week, taking him out for the next. De Bruyne could even be on the way out. Rashford could be substituted. So this game week's going to be very hectic. So I don't know how much thought is going into these transfers, and I'm just hoping that they come out on top. So there, Karan asking a Liverpool rotation risk. So that could be something to consider, but I do think after Man City's game that I don't think Klopp's going to be rotating too much. We could see maybe 60 minutes, 70 minutes, but I think that's going to be the case with most players. But I do think that I'm still favoring the likes of Salah and Mane. So in terms of what these two offer, it's a little bit of, as I said, we don't really know what's going to be happening. But I do think that Salah looked a lot better than Mane against City. So he's currently who I'm going to be bringing in. So this is going to be a confirmed move here. Son to Salah. I know you guys love a transfer done live on stream. Vincent there, Dayvy, you legend. Any electricity outages? No electricity outages yet. Vincent actually mentioned, you always ask me about the electricity, so I mentioned it to a couple of people here. So thanks for always caring about that electricity. But currently we are all good. So Fernandez is going to be my vice captain. I don't think the vice captain is going to matter too much this week. Touch wood. But I think Salah is going to be my captain this week. So in terms of, as I said, captaincy options, there's really a lot to go for. So just kind of pick whoever you want and just hope they do well. So it'll be Harvey Barnes for Mahrez. Leaves 2.6 in the bank. We've got the same defense as well as forwards. I don't think Arsenal gets blanks, but away form has been poor. So Harvey Barnes to Mahrez looks like a good transfer to me. Leicester, you could take a punt on Leicester now because everyone's kind of getting rid on them and they're going to have to do well if they want to get top 4. But I think that Harvey Barnes for Mahrez is almost a no-brainer. So I do like that move, and if that's only the one free transfer you're doing, I think that's perfectly fine. The rest of the defense, we have to take a little bit of a punt on it. I mean, Wolves coming up after the break, not the best fixtures in the world, but I still think from a Wolves defensive point of view, they've been doing quite well. So times I like that move. A budget goalkeeper. If you want a budget goalkeeper, look no further than young Martinez from Arsenal. 4.2 million has been getting a couple of points for us. So no, in terms of him, I think he's a good option. Arsenal's fixtures aren't the best coming up. So if I was to bring in someone, I don't think it would be Martinez. But you could look. I think unfortunately you're going to have to stretch that budget a little bit and go for someone like a Pope. I think the cheapest you're probably going to get is a 4.9. The 4.5 keepers, there's not much between them. You kind of just have to look at the fixtures and pick one that's good. Reza with a £5 donation saying Son to Mahrez or Martial. I already have Bruno and Rashford, so question is to get a third Man U or second Man City. So I'm pretty much assuming that you do have De Bruyne there, Reza, because I think that that's probably going to be the most likely move. I really do like Martial because of him playing out of position as a centre forward. Now against Bournemouth, as I said in the kind of team selection, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Bournemouth, because if they want to get out of relegation, they're going to have to start making some moves now. But I do like the Mahrez punt there. I think Mahrez is probably a little bit safer there. I think I would probably go for Mahrez in that case, Reza, because of just how I'm pretty certain that he's going to be starting. Has a couple of nice fixtures coming up. So I think in that case, I would probably opt for Mahrez there. But thank you for the donation. I do appreciate it. Also have €2 here from Miguel saying, are you worried Salah's going to be rested this week? So he could be rested. But I think it's kind of the case with any forward player that we're currently having. I do think that Salah will be playing. It is a home fixture against Aston Villa. I think the worst case scenario is he probably gets about 70 minutes, 60 minutes. But I do think Salah is going to be starting. I think that he looked the sharpest out of those forwards for Liverpool against Man City. And the thing with Salah is he wants that golden boot. I don't know if you guys have seen the interview, but he was asked about would he rather have the golden boot or some other award, but it was more of a team award, and he said that no, the golden boot, because it is also a team award. So I think Salah's going to be hungry, so that's why I'm kind of hoping that he gets back on that scoring wagon. But thanks for that €2 donation there. Please say if I miss any of your guys' donations. I don't want to make you guys feel bad for missing them. I think we also there. Okay, so from JoJo's Revenge 2, Son to Mane / Salah and Davies to Pulisic / Foden for a -4. It depends on who you're going to be benching. It depends on who you're going to be benching this week. So if you're going to be benching a player that still has a good fixture, instead of the likes of Pulisic and Foden, then I would just make the move from Son to Mane. But if the player that you're benching has a really bad fixture and you don't think is going to be doing that well, then I would probably be looking at just taking the one transfer, not doing the two. However, if that player, as I said, has a bad fixture, then I think it might be worth the -4. Martin Christian saying you missed mine. So Martin, was it a super chat or was it on the Streamlabs? Because I'm going to go check the Streamlabs right now for you. Hopefully I haven't missed any from the Streamlabs. Okay, so the Streamlabs hasn't been showing anything. So Martin, maybe just put it in chat and I'll try get to it. Apologies for missing that donation there. I'm also going to keep my eyes over on Twitter because there could be some team news that's going to be coming up soon. That I hope that we kind of get some early team news. It's not the biggest team news that we need this week. As I said, it's just Norwich versus Brighton. But it would be nice to know if Connolly's going to be starting, because I do think that I would start him there. Martin, I'm going to be checking out for your donation here. Super chat. So Martin, just put it in chat. I'll keep out for your name. So apologies if I did miss your donation there. Is Saint Maximum worth a consideration? I do think he's worth a consideration. Unfortunately, he falls in that kind of price bracket of those 5.4 around players where the likes of Foden now is, where he's playing super well. So I do think he is worth a consideration. If you want a player that's going to be playing every single game, I would look at him, because I don't see how Newcastle can bench him. Corin Wright saying, Dayvy, -4 to get rid of Calvert-Lewin, 1.8 in the bank. I don't think it's worth the -4 there, Corin. I think that Spurs haven't looked good defensively, and I think Everton have looked a lot better attacking-wise. So I don't think I would be taking that -4 this week. And then you also have a £5 donation from Camille saying, hi, thoughts on this free it? Martinez can't afford anymore, understandable. Richie, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, TAA, Mane, Salah, KDB, Martial, Jesus, Greenwood. Get Connolly on the bench. So I think that what I would do, as far as I can see, okay, you do have a Man United triple up, so I do think I like those moves. In terms of a free it, I think that's pretty much the best team you're going to kind of get. You've got 3 United, you've got 3 Liverpool, you've got, as far as I think, you got 3 Man City as well. So I can't see too much wrong there with that free it. It almost makes me want to free it because of how good that squad's looking. So I do think that that's a really nice squad to go for. Okay, Martin, I see it here. I have Wan-Bissaka instead of Doherty, Mane instead of Martial, 2 free hits. What to do? So I would keep Mane. I would captain Mane or captain one of your Man United options. 2 free transfers to do. A simple transfer that you could maybe look at getting in is if you want to kind of free up funds, maybe downgrade Aurier to a cheap defender and then upgrade the likes of Davies. If you can afford maybe one of the likes of Foden, or what I would look at is trying, if you don't have Man United triple up, I would be looking at upgrading Connolly to Greenwood. In terms of other moves, it's kind of a hard situation to be in, but I think that your team is set out quite nicely because of that Aaron Wan-Bissaka move, as you have a nice playing defender this week. Why don't you captain Kevin De Bruyne, asks Manas. So I don't want to put too many rumors, but I don't know if with KDB starting, there is some speculation about that, but I wouldn't be looking too much into it. But I just think in terms of fixtures, I know KDB is probably the most informed player to have right now, but I just think in terms of the others, we might be looking at some better options in the attacking department. But KDB is going nowhere in my team. I just don't think I'm willing to captain him. Connolly or Saiz to start. So if Connolly does start this week, I probably will be taking him. I probably will be benching Saiz, to be honest. Now that I think of it, Aurier still has some attacking threat, so we could look at him. But I'm just waiting on some early team news there. So if there is early team news, just mention in chat. Probably the player or the account we're looking for is going to be FPL Rockstar, because I don't know if I trust anyone else's kind of team news. So I think that I'll probably just be loading up his Twitter account, and then if someone else posts, I'm pretty sure that someone in chat will mention. We usually have the likes of I think it's Optimus Prime. He usually posts some good team news, so if Optimus Prime is in the chat, then he can just keep an eye out for us. Any Brighton leaks now? Liam, so far none as far as I know, but I only kind of look at Rockstar's team. So someone said that Rockstar tweeted. Okay, so Rockstar did tweet. So we're getting some early team news, guys. Can we get some hype in chat there? So it's not really a big team news. We're just going to know if Connolly's starting. So if Connolly starts, we'll be playing him. So not that great team news, to be honest. But, we'll take what we can. Any advantage in FPL, any advantage in FPL is going to be good. So, FPL Rockstar has been coming in clutch these past couple games, to be honest. So, whenever you see that Rockstar gif, you know that it's going to be a good time. So, so really excited for that one. Guys, please get your teams in as well. I saw someone also tweeted me on Twitter saying that last time I streamed, they got distracted, so they didn't finalize their team. So please just get your teams finalized. I think our team is also finalized. Obviously, just waiting on that Connolly news. But overall, happy with how the lineup is going so far. Not the best fixtures for the defense, I think. I think Martinez, basically, it's guaranteed that he won't get a clean sheet. So hopefully you just get some save points there. Foden or Willian, I would probably go for Willian. I think he has to play with the form that he's been in. So I would go for Willian in that case. Why Salah over Fernandes? So I have a triple Man United option already. And I really don't want to captain one of them and guess which of the three are going to score the best. And I'm hoping basically if Fernandes scores, Rashford or Martial gets the assist and vice versa. Martin with another donation. Mahrez or Foden instead of Son. I have Mane. So I would go 100% Mahrez there. So if you can bring in Mahrez, I would be looking at that. Start Mapai or Greenwood, asks Alvin Blocks. So if Mapai is starting, then I definitely think you have to start him. If that's kind of a no-brainer to me because he does have Norwich. He might be rested or rotated, but I don't think so. I don't really know too much about that Brighton lineup, but I think that you definitely have to go for Mapai. Hey Dayvy, Bruno or Martial for captain. So I favor Martial if you're going to be considering those two, just because of him playing out of position. Is it necessary to take Son out? It's not necessary at all. I'm simply just playing really reckless and aggressive for these last couple of weeks. So taking 1 week punts on players, and I just favor Salah over the likes of Son when Son does have Everton. Hey Davey, captain between Fernandes, Mane, Mahrez or De Bruyne. So because you have Mahrez and De Bruyne already, I wouldn't be looking at them as captains. because I think you've already covered those bases. I would go for Mane if you don't have, if you only have. I would go for Fernandes if you only have one Man United option, but I would go for Mane if you have multiple Man United options. Hey, Davey, start Greenwood or Jimenez? Sergi, that's a very hard decision to go by because Jimenez is probably the better player, but in this case, I would almost be tempted by Greenwood. Although it is Arsenal we're talking about, and Wolves Wolves do quite well. So I think if you have other Man United options, I would go for Jimenez. But if you literally, Greenwood's the only United option you have, then I would probably go. Cantwell, Pookie benched. Connolly starts. So let's go over. Obviously, we have some team news here, guys. Okay, so listen carefully, please, because I usually have to repeat this. We have Cantwell and Pookie are benched. Hernandez, Drimich, Duda start for Norwich. Mapai, Connolly, Lamptey, Trossard all start for the Seagulls. Okay, so what that means, guys, is please, if you have Cantwell or Pookie, I would not be playing them. It's a little bit of a weird spot to be in here for Norwich. I don't exactly know what they're doing. But Mapai, Connolly, Lamptey, Trossard all start for the Seagulls. So please, hopefully you guys heard that. What that means is we're going to have Connolly coming on here. I think we're going to have to bench Saiss. I think that Arsenal will score in this case. It's going to be quite hard if they do keep a clean sheet. But I think in terms of attacking options, I think this is the best kind of options we have. Now, Spurs could go on an absolute rampage and rotate their whole squad because of how they played against Sheffield. But I think I'm willing to take the punch here. And then I'll probably put the vice captain on Martial, because I just think that if I was to look at a captain, I probably would look at Martial a little bit more than the likes of Fernandes. So as I said, guys, 3 minutes to the deadline. If you do have Pookie or Cantwell, they are benched. If you have Mapai or Connolly, I think we might as well just start them, take a little bit of a punt. Hopefully Connolly pays us off for kind of having some faith in him. But as Tom James says there, I think that Arsenal get at least a goal against Wolves. It might be a really close game, like a 1-0, but I think Arsenal definitely are a more attacking side than they are defensively, so they're going to be going for it. Start Nketiah or Saiss. I would opt for Saiss in that case, just because we don't really know with Nketiah if he's going to be starting or not. Hey, Davey, -8 to bring in Martial for Saka. I think I would only go for a -8 Vince if you're going to be captaining Martial. Otherwise, that's quite a big points hit to be taking. I do think that Martial could pay it off for you, but unless you don't have a player starting in your lineup, maybe if you have to play Saka, then I would look at that move. But if you could have a player off the bench that is going to be performing better, then I would be looking at that. Ings or Greenwood. So Southampton playing against Man City and Greenwood plays. I would go for Greenwood in that case. I think that Southampton, it's going to be a tough game for them with the way Man City's playing. So I'm not trying to do that just because I don't own the likes of Ings, but I do think that that's quite a tough game for them. Bench 1, Sarr or Connolly. That is a tough spot to be in because Sarr does have Chelsea, who haven't been that great. I think you would go for Sarr for safety. I would only go for Connolly if you really don't want to play a guy. I think Saiss against... I think it would be tempting if Lascelles wasn't injured. I think then I would be maybe considering playing Lascelles over Connolly. But I think we might as well just take that punt against Norwich side that hasn't been doing well. Connolly is not that pricey, so I think we still could pull off some moves there. Saint Maximum or Aurier, I would go for Saint Maximum. I would basically, if you have any player that has a good fixture, I would be looking at them over Aurier. I just think that with Saiss, I don't know if it's worth doing the double up on that Wolves defense. Obviously, Saiss could get a goal from one of the corners, but I think that Aurier may be more of an attacking threat there. I'm hoping maybe for a boring 0-0 in that case. So 1 minute till the deadline, guys. Please get your teams in. Keep Aubameyang instead of Greenwood for him, and Salah for Martial. So I would keep Martial for this game week. He has too good of a fixture to be taking him out. Captain Mane, I would captain Mane in your case because you already have Martial and Fernandes. Saint Maximum Rashford or Greenwood Mahrez. Saint Maximum Rashford. Thanks for the donation there, Charles. I think you might have got it in a little bit too late, but hopefully. Georgian Moy Team Boot. Good luck, Owens. Good luck to you too. Hope Liverpool come back going on tap and Salah captain. So hopefully he does do quite well. The time unfortunately is in, guys. So hopefully you guys did get your squads in. Deadline over, as Manash is saying. Who did you guys captain? Put it down in chat for like kind of the last interaction before we head off. But I think it's going to be quite a split captaincy this week. I think Salah and Mane probably going to be more favored, and then I'm expecting the Man United boys to be right up there, just underneath them. Did anyone go for like a really differential captain, like a Mahrez, or as someone said, a Pulisic? That'll be quite an interesting captain to go by. Thanks for joining us, Light Rays. Tom James, thank you. I really appreciate you being a member, so the appreciation is mutual. Okay, so we got a lot of Mane, Salahs, Martial, Fernandes. We've got some Mahrez is also in chat. And then we also have the Pulisic needed to take the risk. So a lot of good captaincy options this week. Even have some De Bruyne's, which I can understand. A Pogba captain from Justine there. That's quite an interesting option to go for. Connolly, says Tom James. If you went and captain Connolly, you are absolute mad lad. But I hope it really pays off for you. Also have a Kane captain there. So some people saying I captain Connolly. So, I mean, guys, I can respect that decision. I was going to do Sterling, but chickened out. That's perfectly fine. I mean, if your gut's not going for it, then I wouldn't. Tom James, thanks. Appreciate it. I hope, honestly, Connolly pays off for you guys. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this stream. Thank you for joining. I'll be catching you guys in this week with another team selection and hopefully a live stream. I'm unfortunately writing an exam the day after the deadline, so I don't know if I'll be doing a stream, but I probably will, as everyone needs a break from studying. But thanks for joining. Hopefully, as I always say, the green arrows are in your favor, and this is an absolutely sensational game week, and we come back, and we're sitting at second in the world going into game week 34. But thank you guys for joining the stream, as always, and all those donations and subscriptions. Good luck for the game week, and otherwise enjoy your weekend. I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.